Discover the incredible rescue. A 10-year-old girl's hidden pain exposed by a cop and a loyal dog. Rain hammered against the rooftops like an angry drum, transforming the quiet suburban streets into a turbulent sea. Inside one battered house, 10-year-old Emma Harris stood frozen by the window, her wild curls damp and frizzy, her big, hopeful eyes filled with fear. It was a storm like no other, mirroring the storm that had raged within her since her father returned from war, a man scarred by invisible wounds. With her loyal golden retriever, Max, by her side, she faced not just the fury outside, but the turmoil lurking in her own heart. The echoes of laughter from friends playing in the rain faded as she recalled the whispers, the labels that clung to her like sticky tape. Shy girl, her classmates called her. Little did they know about the labyrinth of shadows she navigated each day. While she watched the storm unleash chaos, she felt the familiar tightening in her chest, its presence like a weight she couldn't shrug off. Just when the storm reached a dreadful peak, the doorbell rang. It was Officer Jake Reynolds, known in town for his gentle smile and compassionate heart. He was following reports of stray dogs, but what he found was Emma's frightened gaze. Their eyes locked for a moment, a mix of curiosity and concern sparking between them. He crouched down, speaking softly, "Hey there, Emma. How are you holding up?" Emma shrugged, eyes darting away. She wasn't ready to share her pain, but Max nudged her with a reassuring lick, prompting a reluctant smile. "Would you like to join a dog training program?" he asked. It could be fun. The offer lingered in the air, but fear knotted her stomach. She wasn't ready to step out of the shadows into the light. Before she could respond, the wind howled with fury, and rain started splashing through the cracks in her home's old windows, flooding the floor. Panic surged through Emma's veins as water crept closer, and she clutched Max tightly. Just then, she spotted Officer Reynolds rushing to help, his commitment to the community shining brighter than the darkest storm clouds. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." With determination, Jake shouted for help, rallying neighbors to lend a hand. Emma watched, heart racing, as the community rushed together, their compassion and unity washing over her like the rain. As chaos unfolded, she realized that this wasn't just about survival, it was her chance to be brave. The storm was challenging everything she believed about herself. As moments turned into an eternity, the floodwaters finally receded, leaving the neighborhood in disarray but hearts hopeful. Emma stood by her porch, the widened smiles of her neighbors radiating warmth, and she felt as if she were waking up from a long dream. In that vulnerable moment, Jake turned to her with pride, inviting her to be part of the rebuilding. With renewed determination, Emma straightened her back, her heart swelling with something she hadn't felt in a long time: acceptance. Would the kindness she found in her community, and her connection with Jake, help her step into a brighter future? For now, as the sun peeked through the clouds, she couldn't help but wonder if this storm had washed away some of her fears, leaving room for new beginnings. The sun shone brightly, trying its best to dry up the remnants of the storm while painting cheerful hues across the neighborhood. Emma stood outside, the gravel beneath her sneakers feeling oddly grounding. She watched as volunteers cleaned debris and reunited families, each smile a gentle reminder of shared strength. Max, her faithful companion, joyfully bounded around the yard, shaking off water and dirt in a frenzy. Emma couldn't help but chuckle as he playfully chased after a butterfly flitting just out of reach. For the first time in a long while, laughter bubbled up from her chest. It was a tiny glimpse of freedom, a note of hope amid the chaos. "Hey, Emma." Jake's voice broke through her thoughts as he approached, covered in splashes of mud and a smile that lit up his face. "You want to help?" He motioned toward a group setting a fresh stack of sandbags along the edge of a neighbor's yard. The invitation was tentative yet thrilling. Emma hesitated, a spark of fear creeping back in. What if she wasn't strong enough? What if the neighbors called her shy girl again? But then she looked at Max. His wagging tail and encouraging eyes reminded her that she was not alone. She could do this. Sure, she exclaimed, her voice almost drowned out by the laughter and chatter around her. Jake's grin widened as she joined him, and he handed her a small shovel. It's a team effort, he said, already busy filling bags with dirt. Everyone here knows the value of community. Emma watched him for a moment, contemplating his words. She had isolated herself, hiding from her own fears, but maybe it was time to lean into connection, not retreat from it. With every scoop of dirt she filled, the weight in her chest lightened. The team worked closely, laughter and encouragement floating through the air. Neighbors shared stories and smiles, transforming the atmosphere from one of desperation to one of unity. As they filled sandbags, her worries began to dissipate, carried away with the light breeze. Great job, Emma. Jake's praise sent warmth rushing through her. That small acknowledgement stirred something deep within. It was one thing to participate, it was another entirely to be recognized. Through the sweat and laughter, Emma discovered her voice, not in bold proclamations, but in simple moments of connection. Later in the day, they took a break, sitting in the shade of an old oak tree. Surrounded by friendly faces, Emma felt a strange blend of comfort and nervousness as they shared snacks and talked about their favorite movies. She noticed the little things, their shared experiences, an unspoken bond that connected them far beyond labels or whispers. As the sun began to lower in the sky, painting it in shades of orange and purple, she turned to Jake. "You really think I can do this?" she asked, the vulnerability slipping out despite her desire to appear strong. Jake's eyes softened, sincerity glowing within them. "Emma, I see bravery in you. This community sees it too. You just need to believe it yourself." Those words echoed in her mind. Could she truly embrace this new part of herself? Meanwhile, Max leaned against her side, his warmth reminding her that love and support existed in bonds deeper than fear. Just then, a distant rumble of thunder startled them, and Emma's heart sank slightly. But it wasn't a reminder of the storm, it was a gentle prod from the universe. The winds might change again. Would she be ready to face whatever came next? As daylight succumbed to twilight, a sense of calm enveloped Emma, now infused with tempered courage. The night ahead was uncertain, but she was on the brink of something new, a journey that could change everything she thought she knew about herself. What would be the next chapter in this story? Would she find the strength to share her struggles and truly connect with others, or would the shadows of her past continue to haunt her? As night settled over the neighborhood, Emma clutched Max closer, a soft breath escaping her lips. The sounds of laughter had faded, replaced by quiet conversations and the distant stars twinkling like tiny beacons in the deepening darkness. She could hear the lingering rumbles of thunder, a reminder of the chaos that had just passed. With the warmth of her community wrapping around her like a comforting blanket, Emma felt her pulse quicken. She was surrounded by people who had once seemed distant, yet were now not just neighbors, but friends. It felt so surreal, so different from the isolation she was used to. Would this newfound connection hold? "Hey, Emma." A voice cut through her thoughts. It was Melissa, a girl from a few houses down, her hair bouncing as she approached with a slice of pizza in her hand. "Want to join us for a little game? We're all gathering at the park." Emma bit her lip. Games felt risky, they brought up memories of times when she had been left out. But her heart beat loudly, urging her to dive in. Looking at Max, who was still wagging his tail, she felt her resolve strengthening. "Sure," she said, surprising herself with how easily the word slipped out. As they walked over, the dim light of street lamps flickered above them, a gentle ambience casting shadows. The park was a local hub of activity, laughter echoing through the open space. Kids were darting between makeshift games and families were lounging on blankets. It felt alive. "Okay. We're playing tag," Melissa announced, clapping her hands excitedly. Emma's stomach flipped, heating with apprehension. Could she really keep up? But before she could back out, Melissa grabbed her wrist and pulled her into the mix. As the shrill whistle blew, everyone took off. Emma sprinted, her heart pounding, the sensation of freedom washing over her. For once, she wasn't just the shy girl standing on the sidelines, she was a part of something, a flicker of joy igniting within her. She dashed around, exhilaration blending with nerves as she tagged another player. The laughter, the playful accusations of cheating, it all felt electric. And for the first time in forever, Emma felt like she truly belonged. Just then, amidst the chaos, she spotted a small child sitting alone on a park bench, tears streaming down her face. Emma's heart tugged at the sight. She recognized that loneliness, the deep longing for connection that she had felt all too often. Without thinking, she jogged over to the girl, leaving the laughter behind. "Hey there, what's wrong?" Emma knelt beside her, her own insecurities fading away. The girl sniffed, wiping her tears. "I can't find my mom," she whispered, panic glistening in her eyes. In that moment, Emma felt a swell of determination. She wanted to help, to be the person who offered comfort instead of fear. "Let us find her together," Emma said, extending her hand with a confident smile. The girl took it, and Emma led her back toward the games, scanning the crowd for signs of panic from a parent. As they passed by clusters of kids, Emma's mind raced. This wasn't just about the girl's fear, it was about finding her own. She had offered her hand, opened her heart, and realized that connecting with someone else illuminated her own way forward. Just as they reached the center of the park, a woman burst into the open, her face stricken with worry. "Emma! Thank you!" she cried, rushing to her daughter and gathering her in her arms. Emma felt a swell of warmth at the scene, knowing she had played a part in easing someone's pain. The girl looked back and smiled, the earlier tears replaced with joy. Emma's heart felt light, understanding now that she could be brave in moments big and small. As dusk turned to night, Max barked playfully at her feet, drawing her back to the present. The thrill of community danced within her, blending with a sense of purpose she had long forgotten. But the distant rumble of thunder returned, a reminder that storms could still threaten their peace. Could she be ready for whatever might come next? Emma turned, her gaze shifting back to the park's vibrant life around her. Would she continue to share her light, or retreat back into the shadows of her old self? As the laughter lingered in the air, Emma caught her breath, feeling the pulse of the park around her. The night was alive with energy, but beneath it all, something was shifting within her. She had made that small girl smile, maybe she wasn't as alone as she thought. But somewhere, deep down, a flicker of doubt reminded her that she could easily slip back into that familiar isolation. Max rested his head on her knee, his big eyes searching for her attention. She scratched behind his ears, grounding herself in the warmth of his presence. He always knew how to ease her worries, even when they felt overwhelming. She glanced back at the lively group playing tag, her friends glowing in the summer night. Yet, a part of her remained hesitant, holding back the joy that bubbled up. What if it was only temporary? "Emma!" Melissa called, her voice cutting through the noise. "You ready for another round?" There was a spark in her eye, an invitation that felt tempting and daunting at once. Emma hesitated. "What if I'm no good at it?" she murmured, her insecurities battling with the rhythm of camaraderie swelling around her. Melissa stepped closer. "You just helped someone. You're way better than you think. Besides, it's all about having fun. Come on." With a deep breath, she stood up, the excitement mingling with her apprehension. "Okay, let us do it." The whistle blew again, and they shot off into the night. Laughter echoed as they dodged and weaved through the expanding circle of friends. Emma felt lighter, each step drawing her deeper into the embrace of community. She tagged another player, the exhilaration sparking within her as she laughed with the others. But as she was about to chase down another kid, a strange sound echoed in the distance, a sudden crash, followed by a series of frantic barks. Emma froze, instinctively turning toward the noise. The laughter in the park dulled, replaced by confusion as heads turned to locate the source of the ruckus. Max's ears perked up, and without waiting for her command, he bounded toward the sound. Emma's heart raced. "Max, wait!" she shouted, fear wrapping around her like a tight coil. She sprinted after him, the familiar chase replaced with a daunting urgency. When she reached the edge of the park, she saw it. A small car had crashed into a tree, the headlights casting long shadows across the ground. Emma's chest constricted as a chill raced down her spine. A figure was bent over the driver's seat, appearing unconscious. "Get back!" a voice barked, and Emma halted, recognizing the firm tone of Officer Carter, a kind man who often patrolled her neighborhood. He raised his hand, signaling for everyone to keep their distance as he assessed the scene. Emma's breath quickened as she took in the sight. Everything in her felt drawn to help, but she hesitated, fear pulling on her heartstrings. The chaos of the game faded as reality pressed in, heavy and terrifying. From somewhere deep within, a voice whispered that she was just a kid. She shouldn't be here, not now. But then she remembered the little girl she had helped earlier, the warmth of connection they had shared. She thought about stepping forward and being brave, about gathering her courage like a shield. "Max!" she called, and he responded instantly, looking back with a spark of loyalty that gave her strength. Maybe it was time to take a step forward once again. As she approached the scene, her heartbeat drumming in her ears, she could feel the eyes of her friends on her. What would she find? What could she offer? She steeled herself, desperate to hold on to that spark of connection. And as she neared the car, the weight of responsibility settled on her, igniting something within. Could she be the light not only for herself but for someone else in need? But before she could reach out, Officer Carter's voice rang out again. "Stay back, it's not safe." Emma stilled, her heart cracking at both fear and determination. Would she find the strength to face this storm? As the echoes of chaos collided with her thoughts, she stood at the precipice of change, the night heavy with unanswered questions. Would this moment define her, or could she reshape it? Emma felt the world around her close in as she stood frozen in place. The harsh lights of the car's headlights illuminated Officer Carter, his expression a blend of urgency and calm. Her heart thudded louder than the cacophony of sirens that were now approaching. Each breath felt heavier, caught in a battle between fear and an inexplicable urge to help. Max stood steadfast beside her, his presence serving as a gentle anchor. He looked up at her, eyes filled with a mix of concern and loyalty. "What do we do, boy?" she whispered, not fully expecting an answer. The crowd behind her murmured anxiously, the earlier joy from their game now lost in the weight of the moment. Emma turned back toward the car, her heart racing as she noticed the figure slumped inside. The person looked so small, so vulnerable. She swallowed hard, feeling the tightness in her throat. Officer Carter stepped closer, crouching down to peer inside the vehicle. "Can anyone hear me?" he called out, his voice steady. "If you can hear me, respond. Help is on the way." His professionalism contrasted with the collective uncertainty surrounding them. It made Emma feel suddenly aware of her age, of her smallness in a crowd of adults dealing with a serious matter. "Are they okay?" Emma couldn't help but ask, her voice barely above a whisper. She felt someone push against her back, urging her to step closer, but the fear of the unknown held her firm. "Stay back, everyone," Officer Carter called, his tone cutting through the tension. "We need to clear space for the medics." Emma felt tears well up. She wanted to scream, to rush in and help, but what could she possibly do? Suddenly she remembered her little friend from earlier, the girl whose smile she had secured with the simplest of gestures. "Help someone, Emma," she murmured to herself, repeating the mantra. Max barked, a determined sound that pulled Emma from her heavy thoughts. She took a small step forward, and just as her heart soared with newfound bravery, a flash of light caught her eye. A second vehicle, an ambulance, pulled up with its siren declaring urgency. Her friends were silent now, watching, waiting. The medics jumped out with practiced efficiency, sliding the back doors open. Emma's eyes widened as they quickly assessed the situation, moving around with motion that felt both frantic yet choreographed. She could feel the weight of their training, their purpose in that moment, and she wanted to be part of it. Max nudged her, bringing her back to the present. "You're not just a kid," she reminded herself softly. "You can do something." With a surge of courage, Emma walked to the edge of the gathered crowd. "Can I help?" she asked, her voice more confident than she felt. Officer Carter's gaze met hers, holding her steady with warmth and seriousness. "I appreciate the thought, but it's important for you to stay back and let the professionals handle this." She nodded slowly, discomfort creeping in. "But what if I could help?" Then she felt something hit her softly in the leg, a small rock. She looked down to see a little boy from her earlier game of tag. "I saw you help that girl," he whispered. "You can help here too." Emma's heart swelled at his faith in her. Maybe she didn't need to rush in. Maybe helping could mean something simpler, something safer. "Okay," she said, smiling down at him. "Maybe we can help from here, like cheerleaders. Like rooting for them." "Yeah," the boy exclaimed, his small voice breaking through the tension. Other kids began to chime in, their excitement contagious as they turned to one another, calling out encouragement to the medics. Officer Carter nodded, a small smile creeping onto his lips as he turned back to his work. He could see the change in the atmosphere, the children's energy sparking a new kind of hope. Emma felt it too. It was like turning a light on in a dim room. As the medics began to assess the driver, Emma remained where she stood, holding on to that feeling of connection, of community, of being part of something bigger than herself. Then, without warning, a voice crackled over the radio. From the paramedics. "We've got a pulse." The collective sigh of relief was palpable, a wave washing over the crowd. Emma's breath caught again, but this time it was with a newfound sense of purpose. "See?" she whispered to Max, who wagged his tail. "Maybe we are making a difference." But just as she started to relax, something shifted in the air. The realization hit her: the driver was still in danger, and there might be more to this story than she could see. What lay ahead? Will Emma find the courage and the understanding she needs to take the next step? In the middle of the chaotic scene, a stillness fell over Emma. She clutched Max closer, feeling the reassuring warmth of his fur against the back of her legs. The cheers from the kids around her gradually faded, replaced by the steadiness of the paramedics' voices and the rhythmic beeps from a nearby medical device. She could see shadows of doubt creeping into the expressions of the adults, anxiety etched deep in their brows. Emma felt a spark of concern that maybe what everyone thought was okay really wasn't. As the medics worked, they seemed to create a protective circle around the driver inside the crumpled car. Emma's heart pounded in her chest. She didn't have to see the person inside to know they were fighting for their life. Something in her gut told her that the real battle was just beginning. She turned to the small boy beside her, whose innocent enthusiasm was fading. "Do you think they're gonna be okay?" she asked, her voice wavering. He shrugged, eyes wide with uncertainty. "I hope so." The weight of his response settled like a stone. Emma felt more tears prick her eyes, but she blinked them back. She didn't want to cry, she wanted to be strong. After all, she had cheered just moments ago, boosting her own spirit and those around her. If she could do that, surely she could find a way to help even more. She'd seen kindness spark smiles, What if she could ignite hope in a different way this time? Max, she said softly, let us go talk to Officer Carter. The dog turned as if understanding her urgency, and together they squeezed through the crowd, seeking the officer who had once seemed so commanding. When they reached him, Emma looked up, steadying her breath. Officer Carter, she began, trying to sound braver than she felt. What else can we do? I want to help more for the person in there. He glanced down at her, surprise evident in his eyes. Emma, it's great that you want to do something, but right now we need to focus on the situation. You and Max being here, cheering everyone on, that's really important. But what if cheering isn't enough? Emma pushed back gently. Can helping be more than just cheering? His expression softened. Helping can be many things. It can be finding ways to support those who are helping. It can be being present for others, bringing comfort in whatever way you can. He lowered his voice conspiratorially. You have a way with the kids. Keep them focused on something positive, okay? She nodded, his words weighing heavily on her heart. Emma straightened her shoulders, feeling a surge of determination. If she couldn't be in the action, she could still create hope. All right, kids. She called out as she turned back to the small group that had formed. Let us make a big cheer for the medics. They need our support to keep doing their amazing job. Jumping onto an oversized rock, Emma began to lead them. 1, 2, 3. Go, medics. The kids echoed her, their voices rising in excitement. Encouraged by their enthusiasm, she added, you can do it. We believe in you. Each cheer felt like a tiny burst of strength reaching towards the driver inside the car, wrapping around them in an embrace of encouragement. Officer Carter watched, a smile creeping back to his face as the sound of children's voices brightened the atmosphere. Emma felt hope mingle with her fear. She realized she didn't have to fix everything, but she could be part of the support system, even from afar. Suddenly, the heavy sirens faded into the background, replaced by the laughter of children as they began to play a game of clapping, lifting the weight of worry. But even amid this temporary uplift, a troubling thought nagged at her. What would happen if the driver didn't make it? Before she could shake the thought, she felt a tug on her sleeve. Looking down, she saw the little boy again. Emma? His small voice cut through her thoughts. What if we need to prepare for something bad? What if we need to? Emma opened her mouth to reassure him, but the sorrow in his eyes stopped her. How could she promise everything would be okay when she didn't know? Her heart raced. What do you mean? Just then, the medics pulled back, revealing more of what had been happening inside the vehicle. Emma's stomach twisted. The uncertainty haunted her, pulling more dread to the surface. A sudden voice pierced through the noise, crackling with urgency. We need a doctor to the scene. It's more serious than we thought. Emma's heart sank. What does this mean? Will she have to face the painful truth of loss? The air thickened with fear, and she clutched Max tighter, wondering how this moment would shape their day and her understanding of courage. What would happen next? Would hope survive in their fragile hearts? Emma's heart felt like it had stopped. The weight of uncertainty pressed down on her chest, and the laughter of the kids around her now seemed distant. She stayed focused on the medics who continued to work in intense silence, their faces serious. Max, who had been a comfort, began to whimper beside her. She leaned down and ruffled his fur, finding partial solace in the small movement. Come on, let us find a good spot, she whispered to her dog, needing the reassurance that they were still safe. Together, they moved to the edge of the crowd, closer to where the paramedics were working. Emma watched with wide eyes, as if freezing the moment in time. Every second ticked by like an eternity, her pulse racing faster with each minute. Beside her, the little boy still stood, his eyes darting nervously toward the scene. What do you think is taking so long? He asked, his voice trembling a little. I think they're doing their best to help, Emma replied, though a heaviness settled deep inside her. She didn't want to lie but felt her own doubts creeping in. The little boy nodded, but his expression suggested he didn't quite believe her. Emma could see other adults now whispering in small clusters, anxiety weaving through their murmurs. Do they know what's wrong? Will they be okay? Questions without answers filled the air like a dull fog. Realizing she had to shift the mood for the kids, she took a deep breath. Hey everyone! She called out, trying to sound cheerful. How about we create a big poster for the medics? We can all write messages of encouragement. A few faces lit up with enthusiasm as her idea floated through the group. That's a great idea. One girl exclaimed. Soon, the kids were buzzing around, gathering paper and crayons one of the parents had. As Emma helped organize them, she noticed Officer Carter walking toward her. The look on his face was serious but kind. Emma, he said, crouching down to her level. I just wanted to say thank you. You've really helped keep the kids focused and calm. They look up to you. Her heart swelled at his praise, touched that her small efforts were being recognized. Yet, the shadow of worry still lingered. But what if she hesitated, glancing back at the scene? What if the person doesn't make it? Carter's eyes softened, and he placed a hand on her shoulder. Sometimes, we face difficult truths, and it's all right to feel scared. Just remember, what you're doing helps all of us stay strong. His understanding eased some of her tension, and she felt the warmth of her community around her, how they were all facing this together. Still, she couldn't shake the weight in her chest. Thank you, was all she managed to say, her voice barely above a whisper. She watched him walk away, and with his departure, a wave of vulnerability washed over her. In this moment, she felt both the heartbreak and the strength of everyone present merging into one. When the poster was complete, the kids signed it with cheerful messages and drawings. Get well soon. You're our hero. It glimmered with hope and laughter, contrasting sharply with the reality behind the rescue scene. Just then, the loud chatter of the crowd quieted abruptly, and Emma's heart lurched. She turned to see a medic looking towards the group. His face was pale, and he had a grim look about him. Emma, he called, making his way to her, could you gather everyone please? We need to talk. Her stomach dropped. She felt a chill running down her spine. This was a moment she never wanted to confront. What are they going to say? She thought, her mind racing. Gathering her strength, she turned to the children and motioned for them to gather around, her heart pounding in her chest. She needed to be brave, not just for herself, but for those kids who depended on her. What revelation awaited them? Would hope be extinguished before it could truly bloom? Emma swallowed hard, and bracing herself for the worst, she prepared to face whatever reality was about to unfold. Emma's hands shook as she gathered the kids around her. Their faces wore expressions ranging from curiosity to worry, flecks of anxiety swirling in the air like autumn leaves caught in an invisible breeze. She knelt down so she could look each child in the eye, hoping to instill some confidence. The medic's footsteps echoed ominously as he approached, each step tightening the knot of dread in her gut. Hey everyone, she began, her voice cracking slightly. We're going to listen carefully to what the medic has to say. Let us be strong together, okay? Max nudged her leg, sensing her unease. She placed a hand on him, grounding herself in his warmth. The medic reached them and glanced at the kids, taking a deep breath as if he were about to dive into bitter waters. Thank you, Emma. And you all, he gestured to the children, for being so patient. I know this is scary. He paused, collecting his thoughts. The situation is serious, but we're doing everything we can to help. The words hung in the air, heavy yet uncertain, like storm clouds threatening to spill rain. Emma tried to catch the eyes of the little boy beside her, searching for reassurance she herself didn't feel. Did something happen? He asked quietly. The fear in his voice was enough to make her heart squeeze painfully. The medic's expression turned somber. We're still working to stabilize the individual, but there's no easy way to say this. It's a critical situation. He shifted his focus to Emma. You've created such a wonderful message for them. It's important for them to know they're not alone in this fight. Emma's breath hitched. She glanced at the poster. Its vibrant colors felt like a stark contrast to the gloomy news. But what if? She began, but the medic rushed to fill in the gap. Hope is a powerful thing, he affirmed, his gaze strong yet empathetic. What you've done means a lot. Even in the worst situations, a little light can go a long way. Lights? The notion fluttered in the back of her mind. Could hope truly hold weight in a moment like this? The medic's words sparked something within her, lighting a flicker of determination. The children listened intently, though she could see the worry reflected in their eyes. What if we share more messages? One girl suggested, her voice barely above a whisper. Yes. Emma agreed, shaking off the shadow that had threatened to overwhelm her. Let us write more. We can draw pictures, too. Let us make it a big reminder for them to fight through this. Max barked softly, as if encouraging her, and she smiled despite the heaviness surrounding them. This was a battle for hope, not just for the person they were waiting for, but for themselves as well. The children leaped to action, gathering fresh paper and crayons. Laughter began to break through the tension as they created vibrant pictures alongside their encouraging words. You're stronger than you think. One child wrote, while another drew a sun shining brightly. Feeling a surge of strength, Emma took a piece of paper for herself. She wrote, "We believe in you. Please hang on." The feeling of pen on paper became a lifeline, and she felt her own worries ebb away little by little. But just as hope began to weave its way through the crowd, another medic arrived, panting slightly, and whispered something to the first medic, urgency written all over his face. Emma could see the change in the medic's demeanor, the slight turn of his mouth, the tightening of his fists. Please, Emma thought, don't let it be another bad sign. The alarm in the medic's eyes didn't go unnoticed by the children, and they paused, hands lingering over their drawings. Fear rippled through the group, and she could feel it in the air like a thick fog. Emma's determination teetered on the edge. What did that urgent exchange mean? Was hope really slipping away, or was there still something left to fight for? As she prepared to speak, she felt the weight of their trust resting heavily on her shoulders. Would she be able to hold on to that light, or would the anxiety suffocate it? The medic stepped forward, ready to address the anxious crowd. Emma's heart raced, awaiting his words. What news was he about to deliver? Would it spark hope or extinguish it completely? The medic cleared his throat, eyes darting between the children and Emma. Silence fell like a thick curtain around them, an anxious stillness that made the air feel charged. Emma's heart thumped loudly in her chest. It's tough to convey everything we're facing right now, he started, his voice low and serious. But we need to focus on something very important. We're not giving up. We're in this together. A low murmur began among the children, the anxiety bubbling like soda fizzing in a bottle. Emma felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. In moments of crisis, every heartbeat of solidarity mattered. Earlier, we were able to get the person stabilized. They've shown some signs of improvement. The medic paused, the corners of his mouth twitched upward, fragile yet hopeful. And now, there's a chance they might pull through, but it's going to take time. Some children broke into simmering excitement, but others still clutched their drawings tight, uncertainty etched on their young faces. Emma could see the battle within them, the push and pull between hope and fear. Let us keep those messages coming. Emma encouraged, her voice brimming with resolve. Words have power, remember? What we're creating is more than pictures and letters, it's a bridge of hope. Max barked again as if he understood, charging to a nearby open space. Emma smiled at him, grateful for his joyful spirit amidst the tense atmosphere. Suddenly, the medic turned the attention of the group toward a whiteboard nearby, a blank canvas inviting their creativity. How about everyone shares why they believe in this person? Or what they want to tell them? Hands shot up, kids bursting with ideas. One after another, they shared what they felt. "You're a superhero," a girl said. "You make everyone laugh," added a boy. Each statement felt like a thread tying them closer, building a tapestry of support and determination. Emma felt a swell of love for these kids. They were scared, yes, but they were doing this together. They were finding their light in this darkness, and it was beautiful. "All right, everyone," Emma said, raising her voice slightly to be heard over the chatter. "We should write our thoughts down on that board. Let us make it colorful and bright." Amid the chaos of creating, she caught sight of the first medic exchanging looks with the second, tension still clouding the air between them. The urgent whispers hadn't vanished, they intertwined with their joyful creativity like shadows attempting to dim their light. Emma's heart raced again, steely resolve steering her thoughts. What happened to her hope if this light flickered out? As the medic stepped aside to take a call, Emma felt a pull to dive deeper. "Let us not forget," she said, grasping a handful of crayons, "this person is more than their current state. They're a part of us. Let us make sure they know it." With new enthusiasm, the kids scribbled and colored, laughter breaking through like sunshine on dark clouds. But Emma couldn't shake the feeling that a storm loomed. While they filled the board with hearts and bright messages, Emma kept glancing at the medic, who remained on the phone, concern etched across his features. Was there something more? Was this flicker of hope frilier than it appeared? Noticing her distraction, one of the children tugged her shirt. "Ms. Emma, is everything okay?" She knelt again, meeting the child's concerned gaze. "Yes, it will be. We just have to keep lighting our way through." Emma paused, eyes searching for certainty within herself. "Let us just focus on what we can do right now." Max whined softly, sensing her inner turmoil, and she placed a hand on him, drawing strength from his loyalty. But as relief danced just beyond reach, a chilling scream echoed from deep within the building. It cut through the cheerful shouts, freezing the room. Emma's stomach dropped. She shot a glance toward the medic, but he was already rushing back, urgency returning to his eyes. "What was that?" a child gasped, the atmosphere shifting in an instant. "We need you all to stay calm." The medic's voice trembled slightly, uncertainty lacing his words. Emma felt a warmth drain from her body as dread seeped in. What if this time, hope truly slipped away? What had just happened? The medic's voice cut through Emma's thoughts, heavy with urgency. "Everyone, please stay calm. We're dealing with a critical situation." The air was electric, panic rippling through the group of kids next to her. Emma's heart raced, every beat like a drum echoing in her ears. She held Max tighter, as if he could anchor her in this whirlwind of fear. The innocent laughter that had filled the space moments before vanished, replaced by whispers of concern. She watched the medic sprint back toward the car, the grayness of reality creeping in around them. Emma's stomach churned, and a cold sweat broke out on her forehead. The joy they decultivated felt like a distant dream overshadowed by dread. "Max," she whispered, fighting back tears, "what if they can't help?" She needed reassurance but felt so small, the enormity of the world pressing down on her. The little boy beside her looked as if he'd just witnessed a storm unleashing. "What's happening?" he asked, stifling a sob. Emma knelt down, forcing her voice to remain steady. "We've got to remember that help is still coming. It's just more serious than we thought." Her heart ached with the weight of her words, knowing they might not be enough. Just then, a soothing voice broke into the chaos. "Emma, we're all still here for each other. We have to focus on what we can do, right now." It was Officer Carter, joining them. His presence was a calming anchor in the turmoil. "Courage isn't just about big gestures," it's also found in the littlest actions. Can you help me keep everyone focused? Emma nodded, feeling his belief in her rekindle a small flame within. Alright, let us take a deep breath everyone. She called out, lifting her arms. Max barked, joining in on the encouragement as the kids looked to her for guidance. Slowly, one by one, the children took deep breaths, and Emma continued, let us take a moment to think about the little things we can do to lift our spirits. Can anyone think of something happy? A small girl raised her hand, her voice trembling. Ice cream? Exactly. I love ice cream. Emma brightly responded, and laughter broke through the heaviness like sunlight piercing through dark clouds. And puppies. Another child chimed in. Max wagged his tail, basking in the attention, his big eyes gleaming with affection. Emma smiled, heart swelling with gratitude. Yes, puppies. And summer sunshine, and fun at the park, right? That's right. Echoed a chorus of young voices, their excitement lacing the air with a renewed sense of hope. Officer Carter smiled at Emma, his approval felt like a warm breeze pushing back against the chill. Great job, Emma. What if we write down all of these things? Let us fill our board with the happiness we're creating. Together, they scurried to gather fresh paper. Emma felt a lightness returning as the children shared their dreams, each word adding love and strength to their makeshift tribute. Pizza, friends, laughter flowed in vibrant colors across the page. But from the corner of her eye, Emma saw the medics move with a new intensity, shadows creeping back along with the rising doubt. It was like being on a seesaw, balancing hope against the looming threat of despair. Emma quickly glanced at the little boy beside her. Remember that little girl earlier? We helped her find her mom. Let us keep that spirit alive, she said, her voice stronger now. Max barked again, rallying the kids as they crafted more letters, heartfelt drawings glowing even in darkness. The medic returned, his brow still furrowed but calmer than before. Thank you for all the support, he said, glancing at the board full of colorful affirmations. It means more than you know. That's what fuel keeps us going, the love we share. Emma beamed, her worries easing slightly. She could see that her efforts rippled outwards, threading their strength together in a way she had never felt before. Okay, the medic continued, it's going to get tough, and the next few moments could challenge us, but I promise we will keep updating you. She felt a flicker of hope ignite in her chest once more. Maybe they could weather through this storm together. We're all in this. Emma shouted, holding the board high. Let us remind everyone that they're not alone. Keep drawing. Keep sharing. As laughter danced in the air, Officer Carter nodded, encouraging the children to keep going. And at that moment, Emma realized that hope wasn't just about waiting for things to get better, it was in the action of reaching out, of holding on to each other tight. As the night wore on, they drew strength from one another, the murmur of support filling the air, pushing back against uncertainty. Emma felt different, her spirit blossoming alongside the community she had once feared to engage with. There would, undoubtedly, be scars and challenges ahead. The road to healing stretched far and wide, but it was a journey they could navigate together. She threaded her fingers through Max's soft fur, finding solace in his steady presence, and felt ready to face whatever lay ahead with her community by her side. Life is filled with storms, she whispered to Max, who seemed to nod in understanding, but together, we can find our way through. And just like that, they moved forward, ready to keep lighting the path of hope, guided by the simple truth that even in the darkest nights, the dawn would always break again. Now, it's time for you to reflect on your own journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next inspiring stories that awaken your spirit. Leave a like now to help feed the algorithm and spread the love. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending, every word matters. And share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second. Only true fans understand the power of support. Let us keep our community strong.